Now at 5, a big new development in the plan for impeachment proceeding. It's against the Carthage mayor. Plus an update on efforts to save a grocery store in southeast Kansas. And a look at the app that could help you build friendships.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The impeachment proceedings for the Carthage mayor scheduled for today has been postponed. This is KOIM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. KOIM's Melissa Alexis has the latest.
Judge Kevin Selby granted a restraining order sought by Mayor Dan Rife and his attorney that will halt the impeachment hearing that was scheduled for today. There was an agreement for the city to hire Thomas Engelmeyer as the hearing officer when a date for the hearing was decided. Rife's attorney says the city did not move quickly enough to hire Timothy Engelmeyer as the hearing officer. He considers this behavior suspect and says it violates Dan Rife's due process rights. On October 7th, there will be a new hearing to discuss the temporary restraining order. Dow?
Melissa, thanks. A city-owned grocery store in Erie, Kansas is going to be operated by a new company after years of struggling to stay open. The city is leasing the store to River Grocery LLC, which operates several stores in rural Kansas and Nebraska. The city of Erie bought the store in 2020 with hopes of keeping a local grocery store in the area. But according to city staff, owning the store is difficult and costly for the city. So the best thing for its future in town was to have someone else take it over.
We have a lot of overhead when you're a municipality and you own a business like that. There's a lot of overhead, and so it was costing the city quite a bit of money and the funds in the city funds. And so we started to look at different avenues of what we could do to alleviate that, but still keep a grocery store in town.
The new market operator is working on hiring more staff as they'll be extending the store's hours. They hope to open the doors to the public in October. McDonald County Schools today cut the ribbon on a new storm shelter and multi-purpose room in Pineville. It'll provide protection for Pineville primary students and staff in the event of severe weather. The storm shelter is funded by part of the $21.5 million bond issue passed by voters in 2022. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy now for a first look at our weather. Doug.
Well, it turned out to be a nice one for us today. Temperatures fantastic. Most of us upper 70s to near 80 degrees. That's where we sit right now. It's 80 in Joplin, it's 78 in Pittsburgh, and this is actually right where we should be for this time of the year. So for the latter half of September, we should be topping out upper 70s to near 80 degrees. We have some cumulus clouds rotating through. Besides that, not a whole bunch going on here, but we are keeping our eyes on Hurricane Helene as it tracks off toward the north and into the east, and will make landfall tomorrow evening. But some of that moisture is going to at least try to head in our direction as we head into the weekend. Clocking winds at 85, so a Category 1 hurricane will strengthen into a major hurricane over the next 24 hours. We'll have more about that and back here at home in just a bit.
See you soon. With 41 days to go until Election Day, both former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris are focusing on the economy, which is the top issue for a lot of voters. Skylar Henry has the latest from the campaign trail.
Former President Donald Trump campaigned in the battleground state of North Carolina today, focusing on the economy.
If I'm elected president, we will have the world's reserve currency in better shape and order, and every country will follow it. And if they don't, we will put tariffs on that country, and we won't trade with that country.
Trump's visit comes as North Carolina's Republican candidate for governor, Mark Robinson, is embroiled in a scandal, with some staffers resigning in the wake of inflammatory comments he allegedly made on adult websites years ago.
41 days from now, we are going to win the state of North Carolina.
Vice President Kamala Harris is set to talk to a business group in Pittsburgh today. Tuesday, she looked to highlight differences on another key issue, abortion rights, calling for a change to Senate rules to secure federal protections.
I think we should eliminate the filibuster for Roe. 51 votes would be what we need to actually put back in law the protections for reproductive freedom.
That proposal was slammed as short-sighted by West Virginia's retiring Democrat turned independent Senator Joe Manchin.
Once you start down that in policy and on policies, you'll have everything under the sun thrown at and it'll just dissipate. And then you flip-flop back and forth. You have no no continuity whatsoever.
Manchin also said that he is not endorsing Harris. Earlier this year, he told Face the Nation he wouldn't vote for Trump. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
The vice presidential candidates are preparing for the first and only vice presidential debate of the election season. That's set for next Tuesday, October 1st, and you can see it here on KOAM and CBS. Still ahead, a friendship app.
Would you meet up for a dinner with 5 complete strangers? I'm Michael George with the new businesses helping people make new friends.
But first, what you should know about fall viruses. That's next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, a new survey shows Americans' concerns about respiratory diseases like flu and COVID dropped to new lows. Now health officials are urging everyone to get vaccinated to protect themselves and their families. Natalie Brand has more.
CDC Director Dr. Mandy Cohen is rolling up her sleeve to get the flu shot, setting an example for everyone to get vaccinated this fall.
I wouldn't recommend something for the American people that I wouldn't recommend for my own family.
But a new survey from the National Foundation for Infectious Diseases shows fewer than 1 in 5 U.S. adults are concerned about flu, COVID-19, RSV, or pneumococcal disease.
We have the power to shape how this season is going to go. Because if last season is any prediction of this season, that means 800,000 hospitalizations of flu, COVID, and RSV. We know that these vaccines can cut the risk of hospitalization in half.
The survey also finds many do not plan to get vaccinated, citing concerns about side effects and distrust of vaccines. New CDC data finds just 45% of adults got the flu vaccine last year and 23% got a COVID-19 shot. Health officials say we need to do better.
Even though these may not prevent disease, better to have a sniffle than to be in the intensive care units.
Bridget Groves of the American Pharmacists Association is doing her part as pharmacists nationwide get ready to administer them.
If someone's hesitating, what would you tell them?
We hear a lot of misinformation and a lot of distrust and have concerns. The number one thing I would say if you're concerned or you have hesitancy is ask your questions. We know that the vaccines are safe. We know that they're effective.
Health officials say there should be ample supply of the vaccines this year and predict they should be a good match to fight the strains expected to circulate. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Now, health officials expected this flu season to be similar to last year, which was moderately severe, with an estimated 41 million illnesses, 490,000 hospitalizations, and 25,000 flu-related deaths. New cancer diagnoses plummeted in 2020 due to COVID-19 disrupting screening, and a new analysis by the National Cancer Institute shows little evidence of a rebound that would account for the decline. Researchers expected to see an increase in rates for all cancers in 2021, including ones in more advanced stages, but they've only seen an uptick in breast and possibly pancreatic cancers. Hospitals in rural parts of the U.S. have limited ability to care for children. A study published in JAMA Network Open found children in those areas are 6 times as likely to show up at a hospital that doesn't have pediatric services and twice as likely to be admitted to one without pediatric beds. The study found these children, especially those with more complex medical issues, face a greater risk of dying during their visit. And about 36% of children are nearsighted. But a new study in the British Journal of Ophthalmology estimates that will increase to 40% by 2050. That means there'll be more than 740 million cases of myopia around the world, with the condition affecting girls more than boys, as well as those living in East Asia or urban areas. And that is a look at today's health news. A little later, our Pet Vet On Call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to talk about how pets sense the weather change.
Plus, temperatures warm up just a bit over the next few days. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be a pretty nice Wednesday for us today. Quite a bit of sunshine. Temperatures warmer. Most of us upper 70s to near 80 degrees, which is right where we should be for this time of the year. It looks great right now. Nice shot of Indigo Sky Casino and Resort Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Let's go ahead and zoom in. Temperatures pretty good. 81 in Neodesha, 80 in Chautauqua, 81 in Grove, Anderson at 79, 78 in Lamar, so a little bit cooler on the Missouri side. We can go outside here, 7th and Rangeline sitting at 80. Northerly winds at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Through the evening, if you are going to be outside, we slide back through 70s, 60s, eventually into lower 50s later on tonight. And you can see those cumulus clouds kind of drifting through from north to south. But in general, pretty much clear skies across the Central Plains. Few little showers southeastern parts of Missouri. Still big dome of high pressure, so it's centered right across parts of Colorado, and it sends all the storm systems way up into Canada, and then they drop in. So we have that northerly flow, which has given us really nice conditions over the past couple days. Dropping south, you can see the counterclockwise swirl. That is Hurricane Helene. Once it skirted by Cancun, became a Category 1 hurricane, 85 miles per hour sustained winds. Now, as this moves into the Gulf Stream, the waters are very warm, 83, 84, 85 degrees, so massive intensification. So we're going to go Category 1 to Category 2 here in about 12 hours, upwards to Category 3 and possibly Category 4 as it makes landfall tomorrow evening. If it becomes a Category 4, that would become a major hurricane, taking the exact path as Hurricane Debbie about 45, 46 days ago, right on track with the cycling weather pattern. Then, of course, we're going to watch how far west can Helene's moisture make it. Unfortunately, it looks like it wants to put the brakes on as it starts pushing in. Also, look how these systems pivot around each other. The moisture gets kind of shifted back into this area of low pressure. If this area of low pressure was just a hair farther west, we would get some really good rainfall amounts from this tropical system. Unfortunately, we're right on the edge as we go into Friday. Gets in Springfield, Monette, Bella Vista. Just doesn't want to push much farther west than that. We mainly get a lot of clouds Friday into Saturday. Temperatures looking pretty good over the next few days. All right, let's jump into your Thursday. Pretty quiet start into lower 50s. Kind of cool during the morning hours. By noon, mid 70s. During the afternoon, we get up to right around 80 degrees, 79, 80 degrees. Very similar to what we are seeing today. Clouds start to thicken Friday morning, and you can see a few showers try to get into southwestern Missouri, but a lot of clouds. High temperatures mainly into the mid 70s. All right, 54 to start tomorrow, 75 by noon, 79 for an afternoon high. Let's take a sneak peek at high school football Friday night. A lot of clouds, but shaping up pretty good. Perfect football weather sitting into the 60s. 79 Thursday, 77 Friday. Slight chance for a few sprinkles. 80 on Saturday, cloudy skies. Let's go 82 on Sunday, up to 86 on Monday. Overall, temperatures look pretty good through the period.
Yeah, Friday night looks like a good time to wear your favorite team sweatshirt to the game and go sit on the bleachers and cheer them on.
Not too bad.
Thanks, Doug. Just ahead, why the Justice Department is suing Visa. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the Justice Department has filed an antitrust lawsuit against Visa. It's alleging that the credit giant is monopolizing the debit market by pressuring banks and merchants into agreements that penalize companies for using competitors' debit products. According to the complaint, more than 60% of debit transactions in the U.S. are conducted using Visa's network, with the company earning roughly $7 billion a year in processing fees. Visa slammed the government suit as meritless. Soon, Americans are going to be able to get free at-home COVID test kits again. The federal government will restart the program this fall. People can order up to 4 free tests at the covidtest.gov website, and the U.S. Postal Service will deliver them. The website says orders can be placed at the end of September. More than half of all working Americans say they're behind where they should be in retirement savings, according to a new Bankrate survey. Around 35% of respondents say they are significantly behind where they should be. Many workers say they would need at least $1 million in their savings to retire comfortably. Experts say Americans are experiencing a loneliness epidemic, with many people saying it's harder than ever to make friends. Well, now the tech world is stepping in to make some introductions. Michael George shows us how companies are getting into the friend business.
On a Wednesday night in New York, this group of complete strangers is meeting for the first time. They connected on an app called Time Left. It's not a dating app, it's more of a friendship app. The algorithm matches people based on their interests and other factors and arranges a group dinner. 32-year-old Naveen Gowda says he's here because making new friends isn't always easy.
Even in a city like New York, when there are so many people, it's just harder to meet people intentionally.
He inspired me.
75-year-old Ruth Antridge says she's met people through the app that she now calls friends.
It's just so easy to arrange it. You just book a table and suddenly you're with people who are interested and interesting.
A poll by the American Psychiatric Association found 30% of Americans experience loneliness at least once a week. Dating app Bumble offers a just friends service called Bumble BFF, and other services help you meet strangers for dinner while traveling. Time Left says they're tackling big city loneliness.
We plan everything for you. You just show up. Everyone wants to meet people. Everyone's kind of a bit lonely too.
Gowda says talking to strangers is intimidating at first.
I would rather do it with a group of 5 people than walk into a room with hundreds of people that I don't know.
It's a way to socialize in an intimate way. So you're not just meeting a crowd of people, you're meeting individuals who you can have conversations with over dinner.
A chance to spend time with someone new who could become a friend. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
A Time Left membership is $26 a month, and they currently organize meetups in 200 cities worldwide. Our Pet Vet on Call, next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, meet the kid scientist behind an innovation that could be used to treat and prevent skin cancer. Then on KUAM News at 6, we're going to explain a proposed Oklahoma amendment concerning citizenship and voting. Plus, how the Columbus School District will benefit from a $125,000 grant, and more on plans to save a grocery store in Erie, Kansas. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KUAM News at 6. As we officially moved from summer into fall this week, the cooler weather seemed to arrive right on cue, but forestaters know temps can change again pretty quickly around here. And that brings us to today's question for our Pet Vet on Call. Do pets sense future changes in the weather?
I think they do. I know I do. Thanks to age and chronic injuries and arthritis, I can tell the weather's going to change about 2 or 3 days before Doug even tells us about it. But there are some animals that are actually phobic or get anxious. So they're not hurting, they can sense something. And I think because they're so much more intuitive than we are, they are communing with nature and they know something.
You know, we're probably going to keep Doug around anyway, I guess. We do invite questions from anyone. If you have a question, you just send it to petvet@KUAMTV.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday on KUAM News at 5. All right, let's check out our picks of the litter for the week. Look at this. From the Joplin Humane Society, we have this young female Labrador Retriever with great big ears, maybe for picking up weather radar. The Society says she's an energetic pup that loves to learn new tricks and is quick to pick them up. Her name is Cameron. And from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, we have a female kitten named Nessie. They say, like the legendary creature in The Loch, she has mysterious abilities to appear and disappear at will. If you're looking for a pet, why not check out your local Humane Society? Not only will it give you some love and attention, but maybe even help you forecast the weather. And if not, we do have a fallback position here.
Yeah, I'm going to have a talk with Eva next time I see her.
You also can forecast the weather.
Yeah, it's looking actually pretty decent over the next several days. I'm hoping to get at least a few showers in here Friday, but we're going to be hard pressed to. We are going to deal with the clouds from Helene, but temperatures kind of 70s and 80s, not too bad over the next week or so.
In fact, I would say that's pretty close to perfect.
Yeah.
We'll take that. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here for KUAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.